welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And on this episode, we'll be exploring number 10 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
All right, number 10 is City Lights, released in 1931, directed by Charlie Chaplin, starring Charlie Chaplin and Virginia Sherrill.
So the synopsis for this romantic silent film is as follows. The tramp, played by Charlie Chaplin, encounters a beautiful flower girl, played by Virginia Sherrill, on a street corner. In the course of buying a flower, he realizes she is blind. He is instantly smitten. She hears the door of a chauffeured automobile shut as he departs and mistakes him for being a wealthy man. That evening, the tramp saves a drunken millionaire from suicide. The millionaire and the tramp, his new best friend, go out on the town. After helping the millionaire home the next morning, the tramp comes across the flower girl. He gets money from the millionaire and buys all her flowers before driving her home in the millionaire's car. After the tramp leaves, the girl tells her grandmother about her kind and wealthy friend. Meanwhile, the tramp returns to the mansion but is turned away by the now sober millionaire who doesn't recognize him. Later that day, the millionaire is again intoxicated and runs across the tramp, inviting him home for a lavish party. The next morning, history repeats itself and a sober millionaire kicks the tramp out of his house. He travels to the street corner where the girl works, but she isn't there. He goes to her apartment and overhears a doctor tell the grandmother the girl is very ill. Determined to help, the tramp takes a job as a street sweeper. On his lunch break, he brings the girl groceries and reads her a news story about a Viennese doctor who has a cure for blindness. She is thrilled at the prospect of being able to see him, and he is struck by what may happen if she gains her sight and discovers he is not the wealthy man she believes he is. On his way out, he finds an eviction notice her grandmother has hidden and promises he will pay the rent. Returning to work late once too often, he is fired upon his return from lunch. A boxer convinces him to fight in a fake bout and split the prize money. Right before the fight, the boxer learns he is about to be arrested and flees, leaving the tramp to fight another boxer. Despite his nimble footwork, the boxer eventually knocks him out, leaving him with no prize money. The tramp runs into the millionaire for the third time and is again invited to his home. He tells the millionaire about the girl's plight, and he gives the tramp the money to pay her rent and for the operation. Burglars knock out the millionaire and take the rest of his money. The police arrive and find the tramp with the money the millionaire gave him. The millionaire is knocked out and can't remember giving the tramp money. The tramp evades police long enough to give the girl the money. Months later, the tramp is released from jail. He goes to the street corner, but the girl isn't there. He happens upon a flower shop where the girl is working, now able to see. He breaks into a smile and she giggles. Embarrassed by his appearance, he slinks away. She stops him and offers a flower. Upon touching his hand, she realizes who he is and gasps. She places his hand to her heart with a tearful smile. Relieved and elated, he smiles back.
This movie is so good.
It's so good.
And I'm sure they restored it, but it looks so good.
We started watching this, and I know it had been restored because I bought it on the Criterion.
Yeah.
And also I believe this is in that Library of Congress thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the United States government picks certain movies that have, cultural significance and, that kind of thing, and they save them for posterity. They're like stored in this vault that's like in a salt mine in Kansas or something underground. This is one of those films. This movie is absolutely amazing.
It's so good, and the story is good, and it's amazing to me how much that this director can convey without speaking. And just the emotion and the chemistry comes through it. And I rated this one really high on does it hold up? I rated it really high because it really does.
Yeah, this movie is absolutely timeless. There are things in it that today we wouldn't understand. Like, we don't have like people like walking the streets to sweep the streets. It's either done with the truck, if done at all.
Yeah.
They're generally, but I mean, there's still some stuff that holds up. Like, you to this day, you can still find people like selling flowers here and there.
Yeah, blind people. There's still blind people.
Yeah, people don't have sight. That kind of thing.
Also, the one big thing that holds up in this movie is the humor.
Yes.
And that doesn't always happen. Like with movies from like the 60s, 50s, 80s even.
Yeah.
A lot of that humor doesn't hold up and it's cringy, you know? But this totally holds up.
This is just universally funny because it's situational.
Yes.
Like, everything that happens to him is just like, it's so like ridiculous, and it's, the humor doesn't make fun of anyone. It's funny because it's funny.
Yes.
It's not funny at anyone's expense.
No.
It's not like, and it doesn't matter what culture you're from. This movie is going to be funny because it's universally human.
Yes.
Everything about this movie is universally human. That's what makes it so great.
And amidst of this humor, there is this very sad, tragic love story. Like, it's just really like this poor girl can't see, she's sick, and he's like, you know what, I don't have money, but I'm gonna go get her money so that she could.
That's what really shines through, is the heart of this movie.
Yes.
Like, Charlie Chaplin plays this character, the tramp, in a lot of movies. Like, pretty much every movie he is in features the tramp. It's just this, down on his luck, lower class character who, he has like a stingy brim black hat and, disheveled clothes, and, it was really kind of about, that era. He's a homeless person for the most part, but he's always good-natured. Everything he does is, in regards to this young woman, is absolutely sweet and kind, and you root for him so hard because he's just a good person. It comes off the screen. Everything about him is warm and kind, and even
like this man who he doesn't know, who comes out of a bar totally drunk and is like, hey, like, he goes along with it. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he does it like 2 to 3 times, even though the guys showed him no respect when he's sober. And he's still like, okay,
Yeah,
and then the last time he goes after him so he could try to get money to help this girl.
Well,
because he's desperate.
He really was. I mean, he just went. And
that's right.
He was just telling him about the thing, and the man offered it. He didn't ask for the money.
That's right. He didn't just tell him about it.
And there's all kinds of absurd things that happen in this movie, but they're all funny and they all move. I mean, this movie the pacing is incredible.
Yeah, it's really.
This movie really, like, it's snappy, moves right along.
Yeah.
It has the great sequence that, even if you've never seen one of his movies, you've probably seen the sequence where he's in the boxing ring.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
The staging of the scene is so incredible.
Great. It's so funny, and it still works. And even when he's like waiting to, like, he's in the backstage waiting for this boxing match to happen, and he's about to fight this really scary man, and this man keeps looking at him, and he's like,
he's he's almost like flirting with him.
Yeah, he is. It's so funny. And this man was so talented. Just incredibly talented.
He wrote this, he directed it, he starred in it, he edited it, and he wrote the music.
God.
He composed the music to this. Like, that's just like, I mean, he's like the literal definition of an auteur.
Yes.
Like, everything about this. And one of the cool things about where we live in Fremont, California. What a lot of people don't know is that the silent film industry started here in the Niles district. So behind us are the East Bay Hills in the San Francisco Bay Area, and up on the hills above Niles, which is one of the districts of Fremont, There's a Niles sign, much like the sign for Hollywood that you see. You know, everyone's familiar with. There's one here. It's people go up, and it's basically in chalk, but you know, it says Niles on it, and people go up there and keep track of it. There's a silent film museum here in the Niles district, which is really, really cool.
You know, I've never been there.
It's really cool.
We should go.
We should definitely go.
Yeah.
You know, he shot movies here in the early 20s. Bronco Billy shot several movies here. I've seen some of his movies where I'm like, oh, that's Niles Canyon. There's a old train line through Niles Canyon that the Pony Express used.
Oh, wow.
And they shot movies on it because it's no longer in use. It's that one that we
little kid,
the one we took the Christmas tour on. It's that one.
Yeah.
You can see it clear as day if you're from here. Like, holy crap, that's Niles Canyon. So there's a pizza place out here called Bronco Billy's, and
that's cool.
But so there's an early stuff. If you've ever seen the movie Chaplin that stars Robert Downey Jr., there is a shot in that movie where I don't know if they came here and shot it, but it's clearly they were shooting it, based on a movie that he was shooting here. It looks very much like the area, and if they did it through like digital photography or something, they did a great job with it because it really looks like it was here. So like his early movies were shot here before they moved down south. So there was a time when we were Hollywood.
Yeah,
it's kind of a cool local history thing. For,
that's very cool
for people that have I've lived here my whole life, so it's always been kind of a cool thing to
for sure
to have.
Yeah, this movie, I mean, it kind of is the definition of Love is Blind.
Yeah.
And it's really moving. It's very sweet. It's funny. It's, there's just not enough things I could say about this movie. Well deserves to be number 10 on the list.
Yeah.
This movie is
as
in the
we've
right
gotten
spot.
Deep into this list, we've had a lot of head scratchers. This is not one of them. This movie not only should be on this list. There's a reason that this movie shows up so high on pretty much every best of all time list. This movie is an absolute all time classic. If you have an aversion to watching older movies or silent movies or whatever,
this one's worth it.
Highly encourage you
to
watch this movie. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. This movie is so wonderful and entertaining, and it's the reason that movies exist. It really is. Like, this is just a absolutely wonderful film.
Yeah.
I gave this one a 78. Jerry gave it a 77. The list score is 77.5.
All right. If you have any comments about this movie or any other Charlie Chaplin movies, please leave a message or a comment below. You can contact us directly at ratingthelist@gmail.com. I think that's it. That was number 10, City Lights, and that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.